Hello everyone. Today we're gonna make some guava apple jam. Guava is native in many countries, especially in South America, like countries like Brazil, and also in Asia, like my country, the Philippines. We grow this everywhere and we make many delicacies out of guava. My name is Chris. I'm a diabetes nurse practitioner. I want to welcome you to my plant-based kitchen where we're gonna make everything healthier. So today, I want to show you how to make guava apple jam. I don't have enough guava, so we're going to add some apples to it to create the quantity that I want. So if you come closer here, I want to show you guava that's been peeled already. So my mom had peeled this. This is from her tree. She peeled it, she took the seeds out, and she sliced them into strips. It's not gonna remain like this, so once I cook this, I'm gonna puree it with the apples. So this is about 5 cups of pink guava. And what I'm gonna do to it, because I need approximately 8 cups of fruit, is that we're gonna add some of these organic apples. So the guava is organic from my mom's backyard. We're gonna add 3 cups of these organic apples. I did put a little bit of lemon juice in there just so I retain the color of my apples. And what we're gonna do to it is we're gonna add zest of 1 lemon, just very lightly, just so I have a little bit of that fragrance from the lemon. And I cut a little bit of this already to actually put on my apples earlier. So we have that, and I'm gonna squeeze the rest of this lemon. Let me cut it in half first. Here we are. So that's juice of the other half of the lemon. And this is Meyer lemon. It's also from my mom's backyard. So this is completely organic as well. I love this squeezer. I don't have to deal with the seeds as much. Okay, so now we have the juice of 1 lemon in there. Put this away. We're gonna move these here because that's what we're gonna end up with. Now that I have this in here, the other thing that I do that is unique to what I do is I put a little bit of vinegar in there. This is actually pomegranate vinegar. I like a little bit of that tartness from the fruit, and it's also sweet because it's made from pomegranates. So I'm putting that in there. It's gonna blend in and you won't even taste it. Now, to prevent some of the bubbling and the foaming on the top, you're gonna add at least about a tablespoon of vegan butter. And in many of my cooking, I add just a tiny pinch of salt, just so it rounds up the flavor. Okay? So what is jam if it doesn't have sugar? Let's talk about that. Jams are kind of like famous for having a lot of sugar, but we want to make sure that this is still friendly for diabetics and it's not too high in calories and refined carbohydrates. So what I've done here is that the recipe had asked for 3 cups of sugar. So what you have here is raw organic sugar, and this is about 1.5 cups. So I've reduced it by 50%. But I don't want to lose some of that sweetness because you kind of want that taste of it in your jam, especially when you put it on bread and you don't want it to be bland. So I'm taking another 1/2 cup of monk fruit sugar. I don't want this to kind of overwhelm my jam, so I'm only taking about 1/4 cup, and that goes into the jam. But we're gonna wait just a little bit because I want to boil this and get the fruit softer and actually use a handheld blender and blend this all together. Okay. And we'll bring you back here when this is boiled. Okay, while we're waiting for our fruit and bringing it back to a boil, what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix our pectin. This brand is, and I don't have any association with this company, is Sure Gel. And it's typically the one that you make with jams that you want to reduce the glucose, not the glucose, but the sugar, but same difference, right? So what I'm doing is I'm taking about 1.5 cups of water here. I want to dissolve this in cold water and I want to bring this to a boil. until the pectin has completely dissolved into the water. So what we're gonna do later on, once we add the sugar, we're also gonna add the pectin and cook it together. So completely cold water, mix it well until the pectin dissolves into the water, because you can see that there's some lumps in here. Mix that thoroughly, and then we can put this in a saucepan and cook it until all of the pectin has dissolved into it. We'll set it aside, and then we're gonna mix it into the fruit later on. Okay, we'll see you soon. Our fruit has been boiling for at least 20-25 minutes. If you come closer here, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. So you can see that it's cooked. Your apples are getting a little bit translucent now. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use a handheld blender to basically ground up some of this fruit so it's not very chunky, right? So just using this handheld blender. Okay, so this should be enough. What I'm gonna do is put this here, and then we're gonna add our pectin. So I've warmed the pectin all the way through. Let me just increase the temperature on that one. So this is our pectin. That gets mixed into the fruit. And remember the 2 cups of mixture of like raw organic sugar that I have, as well as the monk fruit sugar, so we can reduce some of the sugar content in this one. Well, we're gonna add that at this point. And then after that, we're gonna bring this to a rolling boil. See that? Okay, so you can see here that we're actually on a rolling boil, and it's been going on for about a minute or so. So what we're gonna do is turn this off. So what you need to do is put the jam in very hot jars. So you either boil your jars and take them out after you've boiled them, or you can wash your jars and get them really clean and put them in the oven and heat them up. And that's exactly what I did. So we're gonna turn this off, because I've been heating up these jars for at least 30 minutes. Grab this out. This is very hot. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna pour your jams in here while it's piping hot. That way, you know, you don't grow any bacteria into your jam, and you can keep it for a long time as long as it's sealed. So what I typically do is I get one of these funnels right here and scoop some of that jam, pour it in there, and you see that sizzle? It's really quite fun. There we go. And typically when I do this, it's about 2 to 2.5. There. And we got it all the way to the top. There you go. Transfer it here. You might get a little bit of jam on the sides of the jar. That's okay. You can wipe them down later. And I think this would only give us about, give or take, maybe about 8 jars. Okay. And this one, when I don't have enough, I just store it here in a little container and put it in a refrigerator, because I don't need to jar it. It's for personal consumption. There you go. And let me show you how you do it. So these things you don't heat up, okay? Because they do have rubber in here, and you don't want to damage the rubber, because they're the ones that's going to help you seal it. So you put that on top. And in fact, let's do that right now. We'll put the lids on top of each one of them. There. Perfection. Yeah, we did make about 8. And that's what I was expecting, because we made about 8 cups of jam. So we have 8 jars of jam. Okay. Let me grab this. Because what we're gonna do is put the lid on here, but the jar is pretty hot. The lid now is starting to heat up and you don't wanna be touching that. So typically what I do is I use this to kind of help tighten it, and I flip it over just a little bit to kind of kill any bacteria on the lid. And then you repeat. Just gonna show you. So we're finished actually putting all of our jams in the jars. You have to be very careful, this is hot. I had to cut the video a little bit shorter because one of them exploded and it was pretty hot and it was a mess. So now we've cleaned them up and they're all ready. I tend to like rest them for quite a bit and cool them down completely. Then I put labels on them. Like this one I made about 10 days ago. So that's all ready to go. So how you serve this and the consistency of it once, you know, it's been a few days, looks like this. If I grab some of this guava apple jam right here, put it on a piece of cracker here. There you go. Or you can have it with peanut butter and jam, right? Or whatever other, or on top of pancakes, that's what I like to do. I don't like maple syrup, I put it on pancakes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly have enjoyed making these things, and it's lesser in sugar, you still get the flavor, and it's just a wonderful taste. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope I'll see you again on the next video.